Analysis: U.S. inventory alternatives. Investors see little drama around Fed's Jackson Hole event. New York Federal Reserve policy has sparked massive moves in markets this year, but options investors anticipate few fireworks around the central bank's annual symposium this week in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Options positioning shows investors assume a 1.4% circulate in the S&P 500 on August 26, the day Fed Chairman Powell is about to present his speech, in step with Matt Amberson, major at alternatives analytics organization ORATS. That is purely slightly above the anticipated 1.0% day-by-day flow alternatives are implying for shares over the subsequent month. The Fairness Volatility Marketplace seems to be treating Jackson Hole as a non-event, stated Garrett DeSimone, head quant at Option Metrics. While there may be nonetheless time for volatility expectancies to pick out up beforehand of the event, for now, options pricing mirror noticeably low pricing for crash risk, DeSimone said. Market contributors gave various reasons on why expectancies for volatility can be muted. The marketplace has had a heaping dose of Fedspeak in latest weeks, with policymakers pushing against expectancies of peaking inflation and a dovish pivot from the Fed, giving investors a clearer picture of the vital financial institutions wondering. And whilst markets extensively expect the Fed to elevate costs through every other 50 to 75 basis factors while it meets once more in September, Powell's outlook on destiny coverage will probably be colored through monetary records reviews which are due that month, together with key numbers on inflation and employment. Everybody is form of on the identical web page, we're in a tightening manner, that system is likely going to steadily sluggish, mentioned Randy Frederick, vice chairman of buying and selling and derivatives for the Schwab Center for Financial Research. For markets to be pricing in higher volatility, it commonly means they are looking ahead to surprises. I simply think no person is looking forward to any earth-shattering revelations at that assembly, Frederick mentioned. On common, Fed Chair's Jackson Hole speeches have no longer been huge marketplace movers in current years. Only as soon as inside the last 10 years has the S&P 500 logged a greater than 1% flow at the day the Jackson Hole Symposium heard from the Fed chief. Graphic, stocks and the Fed's Jackson Hole event. Though stocks had been far greater unstable than ordinary this year, market gyrations have eased in recent months along a rebound that has seen the S&P 500 advantage 15% from its mid-June lows. The CBOE Volatility Index, an options-based indicator that reflects demand for safety against drops in the inventory marketplace, is at around 20, as compared to excessive of nearly 40 reached earlier this 12 months. Still, a few marketplace watchers agree with a good extra hawkish than expected view from Powell ought to hit shares. Minutes from the Fed's July assembly showed on Wednesday that policymakers have been dedicated to elevating fees as high as vital to tame inflation. Several Fed speakers, such as St. Louis Fed President James Bullard and San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly, have considering the fact that carewarned that policymakers want to hold raising borrowing expenses to carry surging expenditures under manipulate. I sense they are probably placing the level for Powell, and his speech is a little bit more on the hawkish facet, said Gregory Farinello, head of U.S. prices buying and selling and strategy for AmeriVet Securities. If it's far, we ought to see a sell-off in equities.